Originally, Father, Son and Holy Ghost, we the people of Ireland dedicate our Constitution and beg the guidance of the Holy Spirit, and that it may be in consonance with thy divine will and contribute to thy greater glory. Amen. This Constitution shall be the Constitution of the Republic of Ireland, proclaimed in arms on Easter Monday, April the 24th, 1916, and established by the will of the people of Ireland on the 21st of January, 1919. The sovereignty of the nation is inalienable. It is therefore not within the competence of any generation of the people to surrender that sovereignty which each generation holds in trust for the nation. The question of surrender of national independence may not be submitted to an electorate. Subject to that fundamental principle, it is hereby declared that all authority in Ireland, legislative, executive and judicial, and all powers of government are derived solely under God from the people of Ireland. These powers are inherent in the people alone by virtue of their sovereignty. They must be exercised in accordance with the principles of liberty, equality and justice for all. Any legislation not in accordance with these principles are hereby declared to be null and void. The land of Ireland belongs to all the people of Ireland, the citizens of Ireland, and to them alone.
Ladies and gentlemen and citizens, today is our 100th anniversary of the Irish Republican Brotherhood's and Fenian Republican Brotherhood's rising. And I know that the Irish Republicans were airbrushed out of history by the provisional government, and I think it's a very sad state for those volunteers who went out today and gave their lives for you, that you would have a better life. And I think, you know, we will achieve it eventually. They achieved the sovereign government. The name of the state that they achieved is the Sovereign Republic of Ireland. And it's sad to think that in the Sovereign Republic of Ireland today, we have 5 governments. We have the British government in Northern Ireland, we have the 6-county government in Stormont, we have the provisional government in Leinster House, imposed by King George V on the 6th of December 1921 as a British apartheid system for the 26 and 6 counties of Ireland as an arms-free state and a provisional government. That's what we have today in Leinster House. It's known as the Royal Dáil and the Royal Oireachtas. They don't recognise we have the sovereign government. And then we have the European government. And then we have the sovereign government by the will of all the people in the 1918 32 county election from GHQ Bones Hotels, which is up there in Parnell Square. And I must congratulate Barton Darcy on his exhibition at the Rotunda, that he opened up all those tunnels to Bones Hotel. That's how they escaped. We would not have bought, my family would not have bought Bones Hotel without those tunnels, because you would not have, we wouldn't have been able to win the 32 county election of 1918, and we wouldn't have been able to win the War of Independence without those. The token, the printing press, they were all printed there, and that's how that Michael Collins and the 12 Apostles and all, Harry Boland and all those people were going up and down to Bones Hotel. And those tunnels are there probably for a couple of 100 years. And they're so important that the people know where your sovereignty came out of. And if you heard James O'Sullivan reading the proclamation, and Harry O'Reilly, our Vice President, reading the Sovereign Constitution, they're the foundation documents of the state, the Sovereign Republic of Ireland. And they founded, by the will of all the people in the 1918 32 county election, the sovereign government of Dáil Éireann, which was in the Mansion House. Dáil Éireann has never sat in Leinster House. Dáil Éireann never left the Mansion House. So I think there's a lot of politicians have a lot of explaining to do while they keep on now saying that they're going to Dáil Éireann. The Irish Republican Brotherhood want that sovereign government by the will of all the people in the 1918 32 county election established. That government was established on the 21st of January 1919. All the institutions of the state were up and working. You know, all the departments. Michael Collins was Minister for Finance on the 6th of December 1921 when King George V imposed the British apartheid system for the 26 and 6 counties of Ireland. He was only provisional minister, and that's all we have today. I have explained the 5 governments that they have. Those 4 governments don't recognise that sovereign government by the will of all the people on the 21st of January 1919. That government is still there, it's never been dissolved, nor has anyone the right to dissolve that government. And I can tell you that we have 5 constitutions, and I would like to ask the courts which one they're using. We have the sovereign constitution. We have the Free State constitution imposed by King George V in the Shelburne Hotel. We have De Valera's 37 constitution when the Crown of England wouldn't allow him to put in republic. There's no republic in the 37. We have the British constitution, and we have the European constitution. But Harry read for you the only one by the sovereign citizens, that's you, is the first one, and that's the sovereign constitution. And we want that established again. And we want all, when we're in Europe, and I think we have done fairly well in Europe, but the Crown of England is not the sovereign. The Crown is royalty, and it's the harp that's sovereignty. The British government do not have a sovereign government. They have a royal government, and they have a royal courts of justice. They depend on our harp for sovereignty, and that's 1155. And I think all that should come out. And I think it's only fair that people should be told the truth. And I think it's very important. When General de Gaulle, he wouldn't allow Britain or Ireland to join the common market, was the EEC at the time, because Britain didn't have a sovereign government. They depend on their sovereignty from the harp. And I think it's very important that comes the truth, reconciliation and prosperity process, which was founded down the University of Limerick in 1950. It was predicated on the Queen's visit that all that information would be shared with the citizens here of our country and of Britain. And I think it's very important. When David Cameron said the other day that the people in Britain are sovereign and that their vote in Europe will be a sovereign vote, they're getting their sovereignty from us. The people in Britain are subjects to the Crown. You can't be subject to the Crown and be sovereignty at the same time. And I think it should be explained from all politicians, and you should be told the truth of what happened to those people here in 1916 and what they gave their lives for. That you would be, the first 4 strings of the harp, you see it there over the door, is earth, air, fire and water, man's intellect and reason and his 5 senses. And you have a right, every citizen, ours, I said, was the covenant between God and man with all the information and knowledge for his planet Earth and our civilization. And the first 4 strings are earth, air, fire and water, referred to in the Constitution. And you have a sovereign right to those. You have a sovereign right to the assets of the state, to education, hospital care, and a happy life. And with 5 governments that I read out, we should be the best governed state in the world. And instead of that, with 5 governments, we're the worst governed state in the world. And it's time you stood up to the politicians and made sure that you are told the truth. You vote for them, and you should be given those rights. All the assets should be there for you and your children. Every child here is born sovereign, and every child born in Britain is born subject to the Crown. And I think we know the difference. And we know where they get their sovereignty from. It's from the harp. And when the Queen, and that should be made very clear to people here. And we're going to raise our tricolour flag at 12 noon. But that's what they did here. That tricolour flag, it was brought here by Thomas Francis Marr, who was a Fenian, and it was adopted by the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood as the national standard. The Fenians were around, and so were the Young Irelanders. And James Stephens, who founded the Irish Republican Brotherhood down at 16 Lombard Street on St. Patrick's Day, 1858, and John O'Mahony